follow than that.
No football with it.
I thought you'd be a lot easier to follow than that. That was good. You shouldn't have done that.
That was good. Yeah, what are we going to say now?
How much of this should we skip? Seriously.
Go to the end.
Yeah, to get right to the end.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt. This handsome gentleman here is Robin. And we're going to be your best men for the afternoon. I'll be entertaining you for the next couple of hours. I'm only joking. It'll be 2.5. Maybe 3. We might do 2.
See how it goes, yeah.
Just see how it goes. We'll roll the punches. We want to welcome you all on behalf of the bridal party for sharing this amazing day with everyone. And a particular thanks again to Richard and Claire for letting us come into their wonderful home and have this wonderful day.
Indeed, thank you. For those of you who are wondering why there are 2 of us standing up here right now making the place look, shall we say, rather untidy, well, it's quite simple really. James needed to appoint a best man for the occasion, and clearly he couldn't find one amongst his circle of friends, so he had to settle for us 2. 2 fairly competent ones, shall we say.
We're not out on deck. We are not out on deck. Anyway, on behalf of Robin and I, may I officially congratulate Mr. and Mrs. McCoy. On an amazing day. Behind you, Sunshine, we stand as the happiest and proudest men in the world today.
Absolutely, I'll say that as well. And there's probably someone sat not too far away from me right now that's feeling quite nervous and maybe a tad apprehensive as to what's possibly, maybe a little bit queasy right now of what's coming. And yeah, that's understandable because you just married James. Emily, you right now. That's it. That's it. It's done. Job done.
Definitely too late, I'm afraid. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. No more cheap stuff from us, no cheap gags. You don't want that, we don't want that. We'll not be reading out these short jokes. No short jokes today. If you came here to hear jokes about the groom's height, then give me all the place because cheap gags aren't our thing. We're better than that.
We are certainly better than that, Matt, and I think that's probably why we're not going to tell everybody about the time the groom shot a man in the face with the air rifle.
You did do that! You did
Just say that it's a good one. It's almost as good as the time, we're not going to tell them about this one either, but the time the groom borrowed his neighbour's car. He did borrow it. He just borrowed it upside down. Yeah. And then tried to repair the damage of Airfix paint.
Did he crash it at all?
Something like that. I have no idea.
And it was Airfix paint.
It was Airfix paint.
It's amazing. That was a good one. They probably would have loved that one, but I don't think we should discuss either his nocturnal toilet habits. No. Especially ones that don't involve a toilet either.
Yeah, I know those. Yeah.
I disavow all knowledge.
We should definitely leave those alone because today's not about telling tales, ladies and gentlemen. Today's about James and the love of his life.
That's got to be Italian food, isn't it?
Italian.
Anyway, jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, it's part of the official duty of the best men here today to thank James on behalf of the bridesmaids for his kind words and for having them play a part in this truly special day. Molly, Izzy, Lulu, Georgia, Lucy, Katie, I hope I've got all that right. You all look lovely today and you've done a sterling job, thank you very much indeed. And also I'd like to say a big thanks to Joe and Val, the new mother-in-laws, all outshone only by Emily herself, who I have to say is looking absolutely stunning today. I'm sure everybody would agree there.
I would agree with that. Now before we undertake the customary duty of giving James a uncomfortable couple of minutes.
It's going to get really
that'll be hasn't happened yet. It's still to come. I want to say a big thank you to the ushers, the infamous McCoy brothers, Matt, Ned, wherever he is, and Rue, and also Sam, of course.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sam. To all of you for doing a particularly hard job of telling people how to sit in the church. Well done, boys. Particularly impressed by you two. You've got that left-right thing going on.
It's a big, well done, boys. You've done a good job there today. So it's a great honour for both of us to stand before you today, James, sharing this role. Those of you who know us won't be too surprised to hear that our early encounters with the groom were somewhat violent. Aged about 6, I endured an hour-long fisticuff session with James on roller skates. And then about maybe 8 years later, James walks into his first lesson on his first day at Matt's school.
My school.
And he decided he wanted to sit in Matt's seat.
My seat.
And of course this prompted yet another physical conversation. Of course we won't embarrass the groom by revealing the outcomes of these encounters. We've got better ammunition than that, haven't we?
We have.
We've got better ammunition than that, I'm afraid.
Thankfully, our respective relationships with James moved on to bigger and better things. Many years of friendship since have been, well, mostly less violent for starters, thankfully, and filled with a lot of love and a lot of laughter. There is absolutely nothing that either of us wouldn't do for James, and there's nothing that he wouldn't do for us, we know that. Which is particularly helpful because in those interim years we've done exactly that. Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Really nothing. Anyway, so it's fair to say that James is someone that both Matt and I we've always looked up to, haven't we?
When we sat down.
Love the high gag.
No short
Love
jokes.
the high
Do
gag.
you believe that? Come on, James.
He was standing up just now.
No crate or nothing, was it?
That James managed to bag a girl of Emily's considerable quality was surprising to many because the early signs were not promising, were they?
They were not promising at all. They were not promising at all,
In
James.
fact, they were frankly bad. Take one of James' early encounters with the opposite sex. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could whisk you all back to 1994.
No, please don't. Everybody stay in 2010, please.
Philip's most salubrious nightclub, Ritzy. To those of you who've never been before, picture, if you will, a vibrant and luxurious ultra lounge, packed to the rafters with beautiful, aspirational young people. For those of you who have been before, don't worry, we're not staying long. Just bear with me. Anyway, every Saturday, a crowd of poorly dressed, underage drinkers would spend the entire evening scoping the object, or the objects of their affection. And then, on the first note, on the last song of the night, usually something by Shaggy, all hell would break loose. Picture this: lions gobbling antelopes on the plains of Kenya.
Maybe
Just gobbling them right up.
The odd hyena as well. Maybe.
Something like that. Something like that. This particular evening, James was the antelope. His captor was, if I'm honest, more of a bear. Big hairy bear that had absolutely no chance of snaffling antelope anywhere, let alone the wild plains of Kenya.
Was it you, Matt?
But was did a pretty good job of mauling my friend to the tune of Boombastic. I clearly remember the boys all being unanimous in their doubts about her suitability. But James, bless him, was convinced this girl was a true beauty.
Absolutely convinced.
This despite serious facial injuries.
Chivalry is not dead.
You're pleased to hear back in those days it was a little bit cooler than he is today. So he called it the very next day. The very next day.
Yeah, everybody knows about the 3-day rule.
Tell me about it.
Everybody knows about the 3-day rule, James. So you called it the very next day.
Anyway, on opening her front door, James stood in silence for a few seconds before telling the young lady in question to her face, "I've made a very, very big mistake."
Carry on, lads, carry on.
He got back in his car and he drove away.
So, we just get this straight. James, he got back in his car and he drove away with the sight of a broken-hearted young lady sat crying on her doorstep.
Did you do that?
In his rear-view mirror. Is that right,
Just
James?
admit it to everyone.
Did you do that?
I don't think she was broken hearted.
Oh dear God. Fortunately, as you can see, James's taste in women improved. It's good for everyone. For starters, he developed a thing for tall women. So imagine the chances that one night, 5 years ago in East London, he would come across someone from this exclusive group made up of 99.9% of the world.
So all it took was a charming request from Mr. Smooth here to a mutual friend, and I've heard it was something along the lines of, "I need to meet your hot friend right now."
Something like that.